You are welcome to Unraveling the Knots. This is still your podcast where we explore the rich, dynamic world of natural hair, identity, and all the in-between moments that make us who we are. Together, we answer questions about how we care for our hair with love, intention, and knowledge. I love being your host. I'm Ganiat Salami, project manager by day. In this little corner of the internet, you'll find me researching, writing, or gladly talking about hair. So what's happening today? It's a third episode of a series that has stolen the hearts of hundreds of listeners titled, What's Hair Got to Do with It? Let me hint you. If you missed the previous episode, the reviews will not do justice. Make up time so you can nourish your ears with good information. I expressed something in the previous episode, and I'll do a replay. For many women, especially Black women, hair isn't just hair. It's history, it's memory, it's politics, expression, resistance, softness, freedom. The way we wear it, care for it, love it, all of it tells a story. Ladies, get your attention ready and set to listen. This special woman I have here today rocks her relaxed hair with her full chest. Yes, relaxed hair. She is currently a PhD student studying communication, specializing in organizational communication, with a professional background in public relations, digital advertising, customer relationship management, and also teaches communication courses at the undergraduate level. Ladies, tap your fingers as we welcome Folu Seton. Folu, the UTK community is honored to have you here. And I have to say, I met Folu, I believe last year at my sister's place. And this lady right here is a ball of energy. She is such a pleasant being. So nice, so caring. I remember her cooking. She had a whole bunch of stuff to cook and prepare before she left back to, then I believe that was Texas, right? But it was such an honor meeting her. The conversation was just conversationing. Let me come back to my point here. So I'm sure y'all are curious to know why Folu rocks relaxed hair, and she decided to come to a natural hair community. But before that, tell us something we should know about you, Tolu.
Hi, Ganiat. I am really excited to be here. I think this is the first time I would talk about my hair in detail. So this is a really great opportunity for me to talk about things I maybe have thought about personally, but I've never really shared, publicly. So I'm really excited to talk about my hair. I think that's one thing you should know about me. I do have relaxed hair, but I've always loved my natural hair. I think I will take you through the journey of that, but yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. And trust me, we show love to people, whether or not you're team relaxer or team natural. We love everybody on this show. So that's good to know that you love natural hair. So I have an interesting question. If by your hairstyle, people would know the course you studied in school, what hairstyle would it be?
Maybe Ghana weaving. Maybe Ghana weaving because it's very put together, it's very clean, very simple. And I know communication is a little, complex and all of that, but I think there are also rules that kind of help to simplify the process. And if you look at how Ghana weaving is, it's also complex, at the bottom when you see them, layering those attachments one by one. But when it comes out, it's like neatly put together. So I think that's probably what it would be. Maybe Ghana weaving.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't have thought about Ghana weaving like that, but it makes so much sense. people can communicate, but people that are deliberate about communicating, and I guess Ghana weaving is on that threshold of being neatly put together, like people that can communicate well, right? Yeah, that's a fascinating response. But I think we want to know more about you. We want to know more about your hair experience. So just, let us know, share that like quick synopsis, and then we'll dive in and ask you more questions. Trust me, we have a lot to ask you today.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm Nigerian, so I have black hair, you know. I don't know if I've always had thick hair. Do you want to know about my hair or do you want to know about me?
Both, if you can merge it together, that would be perfect.
Okay, so let me see. Okay. So I may have to go back a little more to the beginning. My hair journey and then maybe who I am as a person. So I am the fourth child of my parents, and my parents have three boys and one girl. So the only girl, right? And the last born. So so I think that my mom was not necessarily, she always sewed. She knew how to sew. I think she always liked to do things with her hands, but she wasn't like the best, hairdresser. But one thing she knew how to do very well was kiko, like thread,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wedding. And so like on like Sundays after church, and if we've probably had a function and I couldn't make my hair and the school on Monday, my mom would just say, okay, go and bring out the thread, right? And she would just sharp sharp Kiko out my hair. Like, you know how Kiko is like, you can't really sleep that night,
Yeah,
man.
you can't. It's
She
very
would literally,
uncomfortable.
she would literally hold my brain.
Oh.
But I used to look forward to Fridays to unravel that kiko because my hair would be longer and straighter. And I just used to feel like, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. Like, so
Mhm.
I used to persevere through the pain of the kiko, because I knew that there was going to be length and beauty in 5 days to come.
Good.
So yeah, so that was kind of like my hair journey. And then when I was about 12, I started experimenting with doing my own hair myself. So usually in Nigeria, I grew up in Nigeria, you would go to the hair salon on Sunday or Saturday to get your hair done for school. And then something just said to me, why don't you try it yourself? And so I started making my hair myself. I would, I
What type of
wanted,
styles did you do?
huh?
What type of styles did you do?
I would try different styles. So I would do like maybe like something we call two-step, right? So two-step
Yes.
is right the front and you divide your hair into half.
Wait,
You
you
do,
actually used to weave your hair yourself at 12.
yes, yes.
Okay. Oh.
It wasn't perfect at all. It was a mess.
But still, like at 12, making
Yeah.
them to actually do a two-step, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
I would do two-step. I would do all back. I would do what we used to call one calabar,
Yes.
like smaller ones, because it was by secondary school, it was like a cooler hairstyle. All the big girls used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't want to do that because there's a long line of people waiting, right? So I'm like, since it's just me, I might as well just try this myself. So I would do that. And then I think probably like a few months or a year after, my mom tells my dad, she's like, um, why don't you give Folu the money that she spends at the hair salon? Whenever she does her hair, give her the money. I think it was maybe 50 naira or something like that, right? And that was my incentive to keep going. I was like, so you mean I will have extra 15 naira for the week? I'm about to be a big girl.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask, was your hair natural or relaxed during this time?
So I relaxed my hair when I was 12 for my cousin's wedding. I will never forget. My cousin was getting married and I was going to be on her train. And all throughout that, before then, my mom was like, never, not one drop of relaxer is touching your hair.
My mom is like your mom. And
Yeah.
that was my mom's position too. Yeah.
She was like, never ever. So when my cousin was getting married, I begged her, please, I want to relax my hair, please, please. She's like, okay, 12, no problem, relax the hair. And so I just remember every day, because my hair, it was healthy, it was thick, it was long, but I didn't know the length of it until I relaxed it. So when I relaxed it, I saw that it fell on my shoulder. And I remember
Gang,
after
gang.
I would wake up and I would just be combing my hair. I said,
my God.
Look at this. And
Yeah, non-Hollywood movie.
I legit felt like I was mixed race at that point. I was like, where have this Strands? Where has this hair been? Look at this length on this. Like I have a vivid picture of myself doing that in my cousin's place after her wedding. I was just combing. So, um, but needless to say, I don't think I really took care of it after, relaxing it the first time. Because I think with Nigeria, our relaxing culture back then was really bad. I think it's only gotten better right now. Back then, we used to use was it Perfective or something? I don't know if I'm allowed to mention brands.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I started with using Dark and Lovely. That was, the only relaxer my mom used. So she's like, if you're going to relax your hair, it has to be Dark and Lovely. And then I think by the time I started relaxing my hair myself, like when I got into uni, I could only use the relaxer I could afford. I could not buy kits, right? So my mom was like, you're on your own at that point. So I would buy like Perfective, maybe 200 naira or something. I remember it was in a green bottle, green container. And that's what I would use to relax my hair. But I never knew I think after my dad started giving me money to do my hair, it was just like a big incentive. And I still went back to the salon from time to time, but I would always try and do my hair myself. It was like, I've sniffed this this thing now. I'll go back, So I was like, I can save so much money by doing my hair myself.
Yeah.
So I would wax my hair myself. I would braid my hair myself. I would do what's it called? I would do like a sewing myself. I would just keep experimenting with my hair. Yeah,
You sure so?
I was always doing my hair myself. Always do my hair myself. And I think for me, I really liked it because I was learning a lot.
Yeah.
So when I even go to the salon, I was just watching them. I never went to like a professional, went to go and learn how to do it and did freedom, all those things. No.
Flashback.
Flashback.
I know, right? So freedom, by the way, is something that in Nigeria, like if you go for some apprenticeship with a salon or like a seamstress, right? You do some form of graduation, your boss would say, okay, you're done. Like we're giving you freedom. You can now start your own business. So yes, as you were saying.
Yeah. So I mean, I just kept watching them, and every time I make my, I'll be like, oh, this was a mistake I made the last time. I need to redo design. And then because I'm on the verge of perfectionism, sometimes I would loosen everything and start all over again. So because when people ask who made your hair, I want to be able to boldly say, I made it myself. Right?
Bushy.
So because of that, I would like make sure, sometimes I would stay up 4 a.m. doing my hair.
So I guess, were you doing all this because eventually you wanted to do other people's hair, or you just wanted to make sure you were taking care of yourself and you looked really nice? What was the motive? What was your motivation, honestly?
I think there were several. The first, of course, was my dad giving me money. That was the incentive. It was a monetary motivation first. And then I think it transitioned into, sometimes I would go to the salon and you ask them to do your hair a certain way and they don't. And because I'm non-confrontational, I found it difficult to say, Auntie Kechi, why are you doing my hair like this? This is not the hairstyle I asked you for. Yeah. So I would take that hair home and just be sulking and be unhappy. And I think that was the second motivation. Like, if I can do my hair myself the way I want it to look like, if it doesn't look like that, at the end of the day, I can only blame myself. But if it does look like that, then I can be proud and say, oh, now I have a hang of this and I know how to do this hairstyle, at least on myself.
Yeah.
And I think the third one was, I've always said, because I grew up as the only girl, I want daughters. I want to be able to make my daughter's hair. I don't want anybody to put my daughter's head in between their legs. I suffered. But I sniffed a lot of things that I should never, I had no business.
I feel your pain. That was my experience growing up. Those mamas that you go to in the market that they have like this small corner where they do hair. Some of them have like a small shop or just a corner. they will tie their wrapper, pull it up, and then they'll just stuff your head between their legs. And hey,
It was traumatic.
was all sorts of odor. That's what
Yeah.
I can say. But yes, as you were saying, my goodness.
I particularly stayed away from some hairstyles because I didn't want shuku, what's that, Mickey Mouse on. I said, yeah, police car, all those ones, anything that requires me to face you, I just stayed away from it. I was like, just do me two-step, Evelyn King, you know.
Just
Just
let me not face you. Let me back
yeah.
you. Do my hair back. Yeah, I'll back you. I'll
Yeah.
back you.
And
Wow.
I think another thing was because a lot of times when you go to the salon, there was such a long line.
Oh yeah.
Saturday time, a lot of people are making their hair. So sometimes you just be waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, I can just be doing my hair myself.
I
However, it
know,
looks
right?
like I can only get better. So I think those were the motivations for me to learn how to do my hair myself.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing. So, this is actually getting interesting. And you've already rewound and talked to us about your younger years. Can you share some of your earliest memories? Just, go into more detail or influences that impacted your hair and your beauty standards. And how has that evolved for you now?
Mm. So like I said, by the time I was 12, a lot of people in my class were relaxing their hair. So for me, I was like, that's the next big thing. I need to relax my hair. I cannot be sleeping on this because like Friday, people start loosening their hair and they just leave it out. And when your hair is natural, it's a little harder to do that. And when the breeze is blowing, you can't get that same vibe. So
That cinematic appeal,
yeah,
that hair flip. Hey.
exactly, right. And I wanted the length of my hair to show because natural hair when you braid it, it coils up, which in hindsight now you're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. But we didn't know then, right? We wanted it to be straight and pack it and all of that. So transitioning then now to now getting more acquainted with the natural hair community. Where they're like, oh, love your hair, embrace your hair. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. And I think in my 20s was actually when I went natural. I did,
You went natural in your 20s?
I did in my
Okay, okay.
so from 12 to, maybe my mid or late 20s, I was relaxed. And then I think I was a bit about maybe 27. No, maybe 20, 25 actually, 25 or 20, 25-ish, I would say, was when I now did a big chop. And then went natural. In between then I would like do like cut my hair here and there, but it was Anita Baker. So I never really like transitioned.
Mhm,
Once my hair started growing a little, I would relax it. But then I started like pedaling down on the relax, how often I was relaxing
mhm.
before, like I would just once I get that perfective, I just, relax. I was just relaxing like a crazy person. But then learning about the natural hair community, I now started relaxing less often. I try to relax maybe thrice a year or twice a year. But then I was like, my hair is breaking a lot. And remember, I wasn't going to the salon as often, right? Because I wanted to do things myself.
And you were using, what's the name of that relaxer again?
Effective.
Modano. Sorry,
Don't use
I'm in trouble. Yeah, you
I
were.
believe that's the name. It's in a green, like light green container.
Mm-hmm,
That's the name. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I believe it's Perfective.
mm-hmm,
And so when I did the big chop in my mid 20s or late 20s, I started to now grow my natural hair, which I really loved. I think my hair it's not too difficult to manage.
mm-hmm.
Um, God blessed me with at least a measure of softness in my hair. So I wasn't really struggling, with like managing it, so to speak. I think what I struggled with the most was hairstyles. Like,
Mm.
what hairstyle can I do with? Is it just all going to be like, you know, what's that puff thing. That's what I did a lot of times.
Yeah.
Then I think there was a time that the natural hair community became a little too much,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you mean by too much?
Especially like when I think I started watching a lot of YouTube. I think when YouTube became very, very popular in Nigeria, right? And then we'd watch like videos from, you know, natural hair creators in the US or I think it was in the US to be honest. And they'll say, oh, buy this product, buy that. How much was I earning? My second job in my 20s. I'll carry my money. Me and my friend will carry our money. You know me do. We'll carry our small salary. We'll go to one shop and be buying 20 something thousand, 11 something, 11,000, 10,000,
Ah,
10,000 naira products. So by the time we finish putting the hair product, we're like, my hair is not growing. Like, what's going on? So like, and they say, okay, don't do that again. Put aloe vera, put rice water, put igba, put hawa. I'm sorry for my non-Yoruba,
yeah.
but put that, you know. And so I think I just got a little tired. I was like, this is too much, right? So it went from relaxed hair being the beauty standard to your natural hair now being the beauty standard. And if you weren't natural, it was like something was like, are you sure you're one of us? You know, kind of vibe. And
Hey. I mean, what was that the feeling in Nigeria then?
maybe that was how I felt.
Okay.
No, so by the time I cut my hair, I wasn't in Nigeria. I was in South Africa. And so by the time I came back to Nigeria, this was probably about 2017 when I moved back to Nigeria. I only spent like a year in South Africa. So by the time I left Nigeria, I think the natural hair movement was growing,
Mm.
but it wasn't as, you know, it wasn't as, I don't know what the word is. But by the time I came back to Nigeria, I think it had become, I don't know if it was just because I had now transitioned, I was noticing a little bit more.
Ah, okay.
Or if that was, I don't know if it was reality or perception, you know. But from my perspective, it just felt like everybody was natural now. You know, everybody was natural. And I was like, okay, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
You relaxed. It was like, relax, sir. Why would you relax here? Those things have chemical. They will give you cancer. They will shape body. So I was like, thank God I'm natural. Me and all my friends, we transitioned to natural and all of that. So I think so that became the beauty standard, like having relaxed hair. Um, and I had my hair natural up until I moved to the US. I think I had my natural hair for like 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for like 6 years, and I had like moments of obsession with my hair. Some moments I would, you know, do all the aloe vera thing. Another moment I would just abandon it, you know. So
Yeah.
I just had like it was up and down.
You tried do 6 years.
Yeah.
Why did you now go back to relaxed hair?
Like I said, I think my biggest struggle was I didn't know the hairstyles I could do with my hair. I wanted to do so many hairstyles. I wanted to do a sew in. I wanted to have a leave out, you know. And
Mm.
I felt like the only thing I could really do with my natural hair was braids. And it wasn't like it had to be like kinky because I wasn't, like I said, I was doing my hair myself, right? So
Yeah.
maybe all those techniques of like hiding your hair that they would do if you went to the salon, I couldn't do that because I wasn't like seeing myself, you know, doing my
Oh,
hair.
okay.
So I needed something a little easier to manage. And so I think I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to relax it now. I know I will go back, but for now,
Mhm.
let me just
So
relax.
you said you know you're going to go back. Are you planning to come back to the natural side anytime soon?
I'm still natural. I still my head that is on my head.
Girl, you know your hair is relaxed. Are you trying to like transition and basically have the natural hair grow to a certain point whereby you can get rid of the relaxed ends? Like, what exactly is your strategy in trying
So
to transition back to natural hair?
my strategy is that I know that it may be more difficult for me to, and maybe this is just it may be wrong, it may just be an illusion, but yeah, it's what is carrying me through. um, I said once I start to have children, I'm going to transition and lock my hair. Because in my
You want
hair,
to do locks?
yeah, I want to do locks because I'm
Oh,
like,
God. Yeah.
maybe I would
What sort of locks are you aiming for?
I would like sister locks, like the really, really small ones.
Yeah, those are really beautiful.
Yeah, I want the sister locks. Then again, I don't know what 10 years, time would look like. I can be like, I'm tired of the sister locks.
You know what is so funny? I love locks, especially sister locks. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. My problem is I love touching my hair. So locks is a definite no-go for me. If I try locks, by day 5, it would have been unraveled. I know myself. It's not for me. It's beautiful, but no. I like every now and then being able to say, yes, I have calabar, like individual strands. I'm bored today. Let me take it out and just play with it. But with locks, I won't have that luxury. So I will, should I say definitely never ever do locks? But you never know what tomorrow holds. So my next question for you is, what are your favorite things about relaxed hair aside from comfort, convenience, or styling versatility?
Nothing else really. I think that's the only reason why I'm relaxed.
Mm,
Like I said, I actually do prefer the texture of my hair when it's natural. I
mm.
like to see the patterns. I really, really love my hair unrelaxed, but I think it was just really for the comforts, the versatility with styles and the convenience. That's really all. Um that's all. That's what's keeping me relaxed. I think I with the PhD, I was like, I don't really have time on my hands. And to those who are I have a friend who did a PhD in chemistry and she maintained a natural hair throughout, and she's still not right now. Yes. In fact, I have friends actually, they're all doing PhDs and their hair is still natural and they're still able to manage it, but maybe I'm just lazy.
No, please, doing a PhD is not beans. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I don't have a PhD, but I know certain people, including yourself, that are pursuing PhD to an extent. It's hard to find time to do anything.
Yeah,
It's really difficult. So it's understandable if, for convenience sake, right, you basically have to do what you have to do because it's not easy.
it's not. It's not.
Wow. Okay. So I guess I wanted to ask you this question as somebody that has studied communication and is aware about media. So, from an academic stance, do you see media, advertising, and pop culture encourage a more inclusive conversation around hair these days? One that respects individual choices, whether relaxed or natural.
Okay. So mainstream media, I think, especially being in the US, I know there's been a lot of conversations about, natural hair. And I think it's because of what hair represents here, as opposed to what hair represents in Nigeria. Here there's more of, like you said at the beginning, there's politics involved with hair. There's, diversity, there's representation, there's history, involved with hair. So there is more of there's more of a what's the word? What's this word? Oh, not invitation, but like let me just leave it, call it a desire, right? Or a push for you to embrace your natural hair because it's really closely tied with your identity.
Yeah.
Uh, this idea of, Eurocentric standards and trying to dismantle all of that, especially for people of color, is front and center, of media and media representations and all of that. So if you look a lot now at TV shows, right? Um, there is a lot of people who are embracing their natural hair and coming on shows with their, relaxed hair. I mean, with their natural hair, with locks or something, that are veering away from the relaxed hair, right? And even for those who choose to wear weaves, right, they
Yeah.
would still tell you that they have like their natural hair under those weaves, right? So I think that is where the US media is going towards. But I actually interact more with the Nigerian media, which is very funny because my Instagram looks like I live in Nigeria.
But so it would be great to hear your perspective on how things are in the Nigerian media too.
I think in the Nigerian media, here's what I'm saying. Again, perception may be different from reality, but this is my perception. I think that are not, Gen Zs do not care about, Gen Zs do not care about what is expected of them
Mm,
in the sense, and that's not in a bad sense. It's not
it's
in
not.
at all. It is, I do not care whether you want me to look a certain way in order to be accepted or to be called a certain thing, right? I
Yeah.
will look how I want to look and define who I am. So I see a lot of Gen Zs like reverting to relaxed hair because for them, I think even from their dressing style, what comes first is comfort. Comfort for them is what, like if you see a millennial and a Gen Z going to a party, a millennial will wear 6 inch and
Hey.
be talking. Gen Z will wear platform shoe
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
come to party like it's the same party we're going to. I don't care. My comfort, my style first before, right? So
Mm,
I,
true.
I I see them veering away from the norm, from what was sold to us by the US media. Because I think a lot of the reasons why people in Nigeria moved to the natural hair community was the infiltration of YouTube videos
Yes.
that made us start to say, oh, I want to be natural, right? But
Yeah.
I think Gen Zs have always been rebellious. I'm rebellious sometimes, it's
Sometimes
necessary.
it's good. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I know there's this notion that people shouldn't push back or rebel, but I think um it's okay for us to not necessarily always follow the norm, especially when it's detrimental to our well-being. Definitely.
I think I think at the end of the day, it's I get the advantages of having your natural hair because the truth is, even with these relaxers, we don't really know what they're putting in there. They haven't really tested these things.
I know there've been studies, oh,
There've been studies, but
there's been studies,
patients,
there's been lawsuits. And you're right, like this whole thing about relaxed hair, natural hair, I what I've seen is that I guess it's important for people if you want to relax your hair, it's all well and good. But at the same time, take measures because there's been studies where they've said people that relax their hair were exposed to like basically cancer and all sorts of diseases, right? But there are people that take measures. You know, for us growing up in Nigeria, when they say relax hair, the amount of time my scalp got burnt, my
yeah.
God. Um, but they just relax hair anyhow. And I think the good thing is that you have more stylists learning how to relax hair the proper way, taking measures. They're wearing gloves too. They're avoiding relaxers touching your scalp, applying like protectants or whatnot, like things that will protect your scalp, right? Versus just applying it in a way that is not thoughtful or taking precautions, right? So yeah, you're right. Like it's a tough call. Yeah, it's beautiful to embrace your hair, but at the same time, it's also crucial. Like if you want to relax your hair, there's really nothing wrong with that. But are you taking measures to protect yourself so that way you don't expose yourself to risk? And ultimately, I guess we just have to be more attentive regarding what we're exposing ourselves to. But yes, let me stop ranting and give you back the ball.
I mean, I do agree with you. I think a lot of the reasons why our hair was not very healthy, back then with the relaxers was because we had no education about how to
Mhm.
properly relax our hairs. And even the people that used to relax our hairs were a lot of times, not informed, right?
Yeah.
Relaxing. So they would relax over the relaxed one, and then by the time you're done, you have no hair on your head anymore, right? Or they start to relax. I see like people back then, it used to bother me so much, maybe because my mom didn't let me relax my hair till I was 12. But you see a 2-year-old with relaxed hair, and I'm like, The hair has hardly sprouted out of the scalp.
Hmm. Poor child. Ah,
Like, why would you just let this hair grow? So now, which is also something I've noticed, like a lot of people are leaving their children's hair, in the natural state longer, which is really, really good. But by the time you get to your 20s and you have autonomy over your own hair, right? I see people saying, I want to be relaxed, but then um doing it more carefully, right? With more education, with more guidance, and going to like certified hairstylists,
yeah,
people who know how to take care of your hair and know that even if your hair is relaxed, it can also be healthy, and don't relax it this
exactly.
often. This is the right amount of time to relax your hair and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So, speaking of which, I think this would be a great question to ask. Have you made any significant hair mistakes? You're always doing your hair, so let us know some of the like hell no moments when it came to your hair. Some of those, oh my goodness, what was I thinking moments?
Yeah, I think the first time I did like a sewing, I think I was in university, and I didn't have black thread. So I used blue thread on my hair.
Ah,
Because I was like, I need to do my hair. I didn't have money to go to the salon. And the hair had to be done. So like I constantly had to be
oh Lord.
but it worked. I was like, oh, it's improvisation, right? I
Was it visible though? Every now and then, did
it
people
was it, I mean it
get a glimpse of the
was
blue
show
and they're
here
like,
and
what
there.
did you do?
I
What
just
happened to your hair?
kept covering it. I just kept covering it.
You
And
didn't tell them it's a style, like, being black is too subtle, We
a pop of color.
exactly, exactly. Oh my goodness. Any other interesting hair mistakes?
It was maybe the second one, but of course, was using Profective to kill my hair, relaxing it anyhow, anywhere.
When
Like
did you stop using Perfective? Like, when were you done with it?
I think I stopped using Profective probably when I started working. Because I met somebody who we worked in the same office, and she had really long, relaxed hair. And she always said that, oh, she's always going to keep her hair relaxed. But it was thick, it was long. I was like, is this genetics or is this just like good hair care?
Maybe
And
it's not skill.
yeah, I was like, did you like and so she told me, oh, this is the type of relaxer she uses, this is what she watches out for, this is how often she relaxes her hair, this is how she relaxes. I said, oh my, this is long ago. I don't know that you have to consider. I didn't know you have to consider all these things, right? While taking care of your hair. So I think by the time she gave me that information, my hair was not really healthy anymore. It was okay. I mean, I could do the styles I needed. I could pack it. It was still okay, but I know that at the root of it, because I had like split ends and all those things. So it wasn't healthy anymore. And then I think the last one was when I did the big chop and I dyed my hair. I didn't know.
Ah, oh my goodness. So, what happened to your hair after you dyed it? The reason why I exclaimed is because I also dyed my hair at one point in time. But let me save my story. What happened to your hair after you dyed your hair?
Maybe so I think because I cut it, so I think I relaxed it and then I dyed it or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Just to say there was not much to keep after that. So I just chopped it off. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to dye my hair and do Anita Baker.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
my experience dyeing my hair was interesting. So, as you all aware, like I wear the hijab, but I never had the strength to dye my hair until after I started wearing the hijab because I was just like, nobody's going to see it. I can do whatever and get away with whatever. And I dyed my hair. That was the biggest hair mistake that I made. So there are people that dye their hair and their hair looks perfectly nice, but dyeing your hair requires like having natural hair, you have to apply some TLC.
Yeah.
Having relaxed hair, you do some next level TLC. You see that dyed hair? The TLC is major. And I did not know anything. My hair was breaking. Like it felt like it was hay that was just disintegrating. It was horrible. So
Yeah,
eventually I just had to get rid of it and start trying to grow my hair again.
yeah.
But I would never dye my hair. At least I would not use like a dyes like the bleach dyes in the boxes. If I want to try anything, I would rather go like the natural way because that thing, it broke my heart. Dyeing my hair broke my heart. My hair was horrible when I was done. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I dyed it. I relaxed and I put heat again.
Ha!
It was just like, okay, this hair. I think at that point I just knew that I was going to transition. So I was like, I, I'm ready to kill you. I'll do anything. And so, when I started having undergrowth and all of that, so I just chopped off the. I was like, okay, well, yeah.
Have you ever have dyed your hair after that?
No, mm-mm.
Ah, okay.
That was my first and last time.
Ah.
And I remember showing my mom, and she was like, "She might dye your hair. Why would you dye your hair?" Like, what do you think?
Intro Yoruba mommy
As
fashion.
if-
Yeah.
So that was the last. That was the last time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to start rounding things up. I wanted to ask you, so my goodness, you are doing your PhD, which is so admirable, I have to say. And I'm rooting for you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure members of our community are like cheering you on. What's one affirmation or mantra you fill yourself up with on a tough research day that can work for tough hair days?
Hmm. Ah. Hmm. I think for me it's scripture. Is that okay if I share?
Sure,
It's
sure.
scripture. The past and you're asking this question at a very significant time because I've been struggling to write.
Yeah.
And I came to my friend's place in Atlanta just to get away from Texas and all of that. And sometimes when I'm writing and I don't know what to write, I'm like, God, or is my research even important?
Mm,
Is what I'm doing even important? Like, is anybody even really, really, looking for this kind of stuff? I just remember Proverbs, I think 3 verse 5 and 6 that says, "Trust in the Lord with all your hearts and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path."
mm,
And as much as it sounds like scripture, I break it down and I'm like, even with my hair, there are times I'm like, God, I don't know what to do with my hair. Oh. Tell me what to do with my hair now. Like after your says that you know the number of hair on my head. So tell me what to do with my hair. I just wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this hairstyle.
mm.
And I just know what to do, right? Or I'm struggling with my research and I'm just like, God, it's not me that sent myself, or you sent me because I can generally be in heaven just chilling, but you sent me. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you brought me this far, so you have to carry me. So tell me what to do. I'm trusting you with all my heart. I'm a baby, right? I mean, you formed me, you created me. So literally, I want you to tell me what to do. When
Yeah.
a lot of people say, I don't want to tell me what to do, me, I want God to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so
Yes.
literally with my hair, and even on tough days, I just take a breather and I rest and I just ask, I say, God, tell me what to do.
Mm.
Tell me what. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so the reality is this. I love the fact that you just basically shared what inspires you. And I feel like it would definitely appeal to a lot of people. Life be life in. And for some of us, right? Yes, we would hold on to affirmations or mantra. For some of us, we hold on to God. Beautiful
Literally.
that sometimes when you're struggling with your hair, like, God help me. It's
Yeah.
actually interesting. I do pray at times for my hair when I feel like, Omo, this hair journey, we have goals. God, let that hair hit those marks. We need to hit those goals.
For real. Yeah, like Yeah, like God, don't shame me. This
Shame me. I've tried now. As we say in Nigeria, crown my efforts with
it was with us.
success. God bless you. You got it. You got it. So you take a community. You've heard Folu share her hair journey, her hair experience, how she sees hair in media and how that's evolving. I really want to thank you for taking time to come to this show. As I said, like talking with you is always pleasing and exciting. You just have this energy about you that is rather magnetic. I'm so happy you came to the show. So, Folo, I just wanted to thank you again and to engage with Folu, our amazing guest. Where can people find you on social media?
I'm very boring, but if you're curious
You're not
about
boring. Stop it. You're not boring.
I'm on Instagram. I'm Fols_Seton. So FOLZ_SETON.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, to you listening, this episode is a love letter to the hair you were born with. Be kind to your hair. If this episode made you reflect, smile, or tear up a little, don't let it stay calm. Tell a friend, a sister, a colleague, pass it forward. Send it to someone's inbox. Let's keep hearts blessed. You can stay engaged with the UTK community on our social platforms with at UTK Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and join the movement of women who are choosing to wear their stories with pride. Until next time, I'm Ganiat Salami. Keep showing up, keep loving your hair, and keep unraveling. This is Unraveling the Knots.